Hello everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day today, and today I have something very exciting. Now, it's not something ridiculously expensive or ultra rare, but it is highly sought after. This is coming from a company, a relatively small company. I don't know much about it. They've been around for a little bit now, and it is kind of hard to get a hold of some of their stuff because it's just it comes in small batches, right? But I think I got myself a pretty cool model. I don't know if this is the one for me because there were previous variations that I wanted in the past and just didn't really have the chance to get it. But regardless, we're gonna get into it. This is my unboxing knife, the White Mountain Knives exclusive Towser K Mini. Let's go ahead and get into this package. This is my first experience with this brand, Asher Knives. Hell yeah. Alrighty. Very simple plain box. They're just silver stamped Asher Knives. And this is a full tie. I believe this is the Spyro model. Not a frame lock. It is a inset liner. Nothing else in the packaging. Very simple, very minimal. I can definitely appreciate that. No extras or goodies, but the thing is with this is that from the little bit that I do know, there's a lot of value packed in this brand for sure. With that being said, to get an item like this at this price point, you kind of miss out on some of the extra little goodies that other companies would typically provide, like maybe an extra pocket clip or a couple body screws or a pivot, or maybe an extra set of bearings or washers, races, whatever you want to call them. But this is as is, and what you see here is around, I think, just under 160 bucks, which it definitely looks pretty cool. I believe majority of the components are titanium, but of course I will do further testing a little bit later on. Let's go ahead and reverse flick this guy. Oh man, that's really nice. Wow, this is a very light blade and brand spanking new right out of the box, as you guys see. This is very nice. The blade stock thickness, this is noticeably thinner than most things that I do have in my current collection. This is very thin, which is very impressive. I would say essentially a full flat grind. There's a little bit of flat up here, about 2/3 of the, I guess, the whole height right there you could see, and just beautiful, just stone washing all over this thing. You do have some satin finishes on like the pivot ring, the pivot itself, the face there, here on the screw faces on the body screws, pocket clip. Everything looks to be T8. Now, I had taken all my bits and stuff on a little side quest. I went to go do some work on a buddy's knife, and I took all my screws and stuff, but I have a T8 bit here, a little fresh one. I can go ahead and poke these guys, see if they're good. T8. Holy shit, this is basically a perfect knife. All right, couple little other things to check before we do a couple size comparisons. We'll test the factory edge. Let's check out side to side. Beautiful. Up and down, nothing, nada. It's wonderful. Okay, let's take a look at that centering. Beautiful. Check that detent. Is there any wiggle? Is there any give? No, it's good. It's nice and crisp. I do definitely like that. Lock bar axis, freaking wonderful, and it's jimped and it's rounded, very comfy. There's a lot going on here, very tiny little details that just make this definitely above things that cost 3-4 times more than what this is, which is absolutely insane. And it really just comes down to design. This is designed by an individual. You can tell right off the bat. This is designed by somebody who actually freaking uses knives. Another thing that I noticed here is sharpening choil. It's freaking massive. It's beautiful. I can sharpen this to no end. The plunge grind, clear as day right there. You can sharpen this till the cows come home. This is freaking beautiful. There are full custom knife makers that don't even know what an actual plunge grind is, and most of them just don't care really, and you could see it in their work. They just don't give a shit about the end user, their actual customer. So when you go and you spend 1,000 plus on a custom made, whether it's US or from another country, and it has a shit plunge grind and sharpening choil, they don't really care about you actually using the knife. They just want to show off their machining capabilities and their design aesthetic. That's what I take away from that, really. That's my perspective. Now, while I've handled plenty of higher end knives, maybe not multi-$1,000 knives, but what I've been seeing a lot, at least within this year, things just kind of look like shit. I've been seeing a lot of people promoting knives. Sorry, I bumped the tripod there for a sec. I've been seeing a lot of people on social media platforms promoting knives with designs, and from an individual who buys all of the stuff for their content, I don't want to go and drop hundreds, maybe $1,000+ on a freaking knife and then fall in love with it, want to use it. I go to sharpen it because I'm using it, and now I'm making this disgusting smile back here at the heel of the blade. So that's something that really bugs me, and I'm really starting to hone in on that, mainly because of Neves Knives, another incredible individual in the community. He definitely brought that to a lot of people's attention that never really gave much thought into it, because believe it or not, there's a butt ton of people in this community that have a crap ton of freaking knives in their collection, but they don't sharpen. They don't do that kind of stuff. They send it off to go get sharpened. And you know what? There are a lot of people that have very expensive knives or collector pieces, and they don't actually use them. They just take them and fidget with them and just have a good old time. And there's nothing wrong with that. They can do whatever they want with their money. But I will say that those are things that need to be mentioned when somebody's promoting a rather expensive or costly item and saying, you know, this is more of a design piece, and to achieve a certain aesthetic, the designer or manufacturer decided not to prioritize the end user when it comes to sharpening purposes. And you can also say that, well, maybe it's your sharpening skill, maybe it's a system that you're working on. Oh, absolutely, you're absolutely correct in saying that. I myself, I have the Wicked Edge sharpening system. It is a rather costly sharpening system, but it's dummy proof, so it was the one for me. Definitely. And I love using it, and I don't ever consider changing a different sharpening system. Would I like to check some out in the future? Yeah, of course, but at this moment in time, I'm happy with my Wicked Edge sharpening system. There are other sharpening systems that do allow you to get a much closer finish. So for example, on Spyderco knives, it's really hard to get all the way back, but it is possible, absolutely. So but you just need to take a little bit more care. You want to make sure that your stones don't hit the corners of the tie scales, like here on the shouldering or here at the front. Those are things to watch out for. So just keep in mind, like, that's something that I highly recommend if you're looking into getting a new knife and starting, you know, a collection of things like that. Are you going to be using it? Are you going to be collecting it and just fidgeting with it? Or a little bit of both? How much use in life are you actually going to get for your money? How much value do you put in the actual use versus who made it, where it comes from, all that good stuff, right? So it is what it is. It's always nice to see people buying and collecting knives and promoting them, of course, but things do definitely need to be mentioned when things are made for, you know, design. You know, it's a more design forward aesthetic, or if it's actually more utilitarian. And this, I believe it's actually a beautiful mixture of both. So we can go ahead and do a little size comparison against this mini Towser K, and it is damn near the same overall length. Again, perfect example. That comes from the factory. It's a beautiful plunge grinding sharpening choil right there. I can sharpen this knife to no end, and it's gonna look wonderful. It is. One knife that we can go ahead and put it up against, one that I heavily modified. This is the Assault Team Model 1 by Moncala Knives. Their first design. I went ahead and did a flipper tab delete, and I opened up the sharpening choil. So I did that, and I can't really change anything with the plunge grind because I don't have the tools for that to actually change how deep the grind is as it gets thicker back over here. But by widening the actual sharpening choil, I get further up into the cutting away the blade material, and eventually I'm able to give myself a space where I can go ahead and choke up if I desire to. So I've customized this knife to where I enjoy it. You know, it's my personal thing. Another incredible example of a high-end USA maker. Now, while the plunge grind isn't incredible, sharpening choil, I'd say it's there. It's right there, right in front of the actual shoulder of the scales right there, and you can sharpen this back a good bit. And I actually reprofiled this from the factory. I think it has maybe a 17 or 18 degree edge. This is the Monterey Bay Knives Sea Otter, I believe. The little one, not the Sea Lion, the big one, the new one that came out. I really want one of those. I think it looks really cool. But the same thing with that. The actual cutting edge, it's really thick, but the way that these are ground, you can lay them back and it won't look atrocious. So, you know, you get a good mix of style, visuals, and of course usability. Let's see another little size comparison. Do this guy. This is the Civivi Vision FG. So the Vision FG is just a little bit longer overall, but again, you know, great little details to this knife as well. And we'll call it good with size comparison. Let's go ahead. Let me grab a piece of printer paper. One piece, not 20. Okay. So let me give this thing a little wipe real quick. Microfiber cloth collection. Yeah, I'm gonna have a good time using this thing. It's a very compact design. I wouldn't call it a large knife. It's definitely good for just EDC kind of use with a little bit of flair, a little bit of added weight with a tie. We'll check the weight on it in a sec as well. Look at that finish. Beautiful stone washing, washing, and a semi-polished tumble over. It's on the duller side, which I don't mind whatsoever. Looks good to me. Let's check out that sharpening job. It looks very consistent for the most part. That's nice, that's nice. All right, let's test the factory edge. Now, of course, this is just a little piece of printer paper, not to prove the durability and the strength, but just the cleanliness of the factory edge, really. That is freaking beautiful. Let's see this little curl right here. Nice, nice. That's beautiful. I'm very happy with that. Now, of course, once I go ahead and destroy this edge with cardboard and just day-to-day use, I will go ahead and sharpen it, probably lay it back a little bit if I think it's necessary. The blade material on this is 20 CV, which is really cool. I don't remember if the actual HRC is recorded on the website. Most likely. The website for Asher Knives is a little complicated, at least for me. Maybe I'm just stupid. But when you go and click on a design that you're interested in, most of them you can't buy because they're just out of stock or they're no longer being made, discontinued, right? But this one was just available. I follow them on Instagram. If you don't, I would highly suggest doing that because that's how I knew that this was available. I had a little bit of extra funds and I decided to pull the trigger. It took maybe, I don't know, a week and a half to fulfill the actual order and get to me. It got to me a day early, which is always awesome. But that is really about it. Last thing we're going to do here is check the overall weight. This is surprisingly light for how much titanium there actually is, including the backspacer there too. So they could have, honestly, they really could have cheapened out and just made standoffs. but I think the backspace is a premium 3.8. Cool, nothing to complain about there. Wonderful. And the pocket clip here, while I forgot to mention, it is ultra deep carry, non-adjustable to height at least, but you can flip it over if you want. The only thing is that if you are carrying it righty for whatever reason, and then you want to go and change it for left, or you go to sell it later on, you may have marks underneath the actual clip where it lands. Now, the strength of the clip, that is a pretty strong clip. I have some joggers on right now, not jeans, but the retention feels good, sounds good. Let's see if you can hear it coming out of the pocket. Yeah, it sounds pretty nice. That sounds good, nice and healthy. It's not gonna go anywhere from doing jumping jacks or anything stupid. But yeah, this thing is pretty freaking nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and just end it there. You know what? There's a little tiny bit of movement in the pivot, but it's really just on par with things that Kaiser is doing. So the OEM for this, I don't know who it is. It might be Kubi for all I know. It kind of feels like something that Kubi would make. I could be completely wrong. It's just a guess right now, but I will be linking down what I can in the description. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like down below. If you are subscribed, thank you so much. I appreciate all your support and your patience, of course. If you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing, because I have plenty more videos and content coming your guys' way. And with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.